Lord have his mercy. Hey, hey. Lord have his mercy on my soul today. The Lord have his mercy on my soul today. Hi, everybody. Let me actually move this around. I just realized that this is a little. Okay, that is probably better. Okay. Hey, everyone. Hi. Those of you on Instagram, of those of you on YouTube, welcome, welcome. We are on a Thursday night tonight because a girl just had so much stuff to do that I had to do this on Thursday. But boy, am I glad I did, because what is going on in the world right now? So, if y'all don't know, Jada Pinkett Smith is on her usual bullshit, and I wish she would just keep us out of the group chat. I want out of the group chat that is Jada Pinkett Smith. Just when I think, I'm like, okay, she's taking a pause, she stopped doing red table talk, whatever the heck was going on, I'm like, woo, finally a break from Jada Pinkett Smith. And no break at all. She decides that she's going to put out this new book and spill her business. I want out of the group chat. And honestly, some of you who were defending her when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, I hope you're choking on your spit right now. And I know that sounds cruel, but it's true. Defending that woman, the amount of backlash that my ex got on social media for the fact that he was like, the disrespect is next level. What are you doing? There were women who were coming for his neck talking about he doesn't love black women and it's clear he doesn't protect black women. He was like, literally, I'm engaged to the blackest woman like I've ever met in my life. Okay. So like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm blackity black, power to the, all I need is my Angela Davis, like afro, and I'm good to go. Right. Like, power to the people. So there are a lot of debates that were happening around Jada Pinkett Smith and wanting a man that was going to defend you and embarrass himself and ruin his career like Will Smith did, only for you guys now to find out that Jada Pinkett Smith is full of shit. The only one who embarrasses Jada Pinkett Smith is Jada Pinkett Smith. And if she's not tired of just, I'm never going to read the book. Let me be very clear. I'm not spending my hard-earned pennies on Jada Pinkett Smith's book, but I will say a woman who has made it her mission to tear down her husband. Yes, I pause for dramatic effect. This woman is making it her mission. Instead of going out and finding a movie role or something, I don't know, nurture your children's career, feed your son, I don't know, do something. She's made it her mission to tear down her husband. And a lot of you women have been following this. How is that goals? You get a really good black man. He's family oriented. He has built a good relationship with you and his ex-wife so the children can grow up in a healthy household. And her job has been to break him down every chance she has. And now apparently she's coming out in her book saying that Tupac was her soulmate. She was not Tupac's soulmate. Like, what are you doing? So you marry Will Smith, put Will Smith through the grinder, then in your book, talk about how Tupac was your soulmate, but Tupac didn't marry you. Like, Tupac, you were like a jump off. You were like homie, lover, friend. Like, you were not wifey, girlfriend, nothing of the sort. Like, ladies, don't be like Jada Pinkett Smith. And again, those of you who are defending her about, oh yeah, I want to, no, you don't. And anyone who was trying to give my ex Rob a hard time when he was talking about the reality of that bullshit being bullshit, he's owed an apology because he got dragged for saying that Jada Pinkett Smith is what Jada Pinkett Smith has shown herself to be. Not a woman worthy of what the hell's going on. So I just wanted to start the show by saying, Jada Pinkett Smith, please, for at least for me, keep me out of the group chat. I want out of the group chat. I no longer want to be involved in the group chat. I'm done. Thank you so much. You've given us a lot, and now just bye. Please go away, because it's become too much. It's actually become way too damn much. This woman not being able to keep her mouth shut. Y'all don't want a marriage like that. Like, Jada Pinkett Smith has to be the worst wife on the face of this earth. Like, she has to be the worst wife. Like, I can't even point. I'm sure a bunch of you, Jada Pinkett Smith has got to be the worst wife on the face of this earth, because that woman just cannot keep her mouth shut. Why is all of your husband's business, all of your marital business, just, as Jamaicans would say, otador, just for everybody to, like, you just want no one to have respect for your husband. But I digress. Moving on. Something else that I wanted to talk about was rules in relationship. And so if you've been with me for a while, you will know that in my last relationship, so I started this show with my ex-fiance, and we used to talk about the fact that we had rules in our relationship, right? We completely were very much in our masculine feminine. We had rules that our relationships was guided by. Our number one rule was no disrespect. So there was never any disrespect up until the very end of our relationship. We made sure there was no disrespect. And we governed our relationship by a set of rules. Because again, when you go to your job is governed by a set of rules. However, there are some rules that I find interesting. For the lack of a better word, I'm just going to use the word, I find them interesting. Because I find that as women, we love rules that benefit us. But what if a man were to turn around and use the rules that we are using to determine whether or not they're worthy of our kitty cat against us? Let me say that again. Women, what if we get exactly what we're giving to men back to us? So the rules that we are using, what if a man decided to use those rules against us? One of the rules I'm talking about is the 90-day rule. Now, most people heard about the 90-day rule through Steve Harvey's book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, and then the subsequent movie of the same title. The 90-day rule essentially states that you as a woman should give a man 90 days to show you everything he has to show you before giving up your cootie cat. And in the movie, as it is in the book, he basically says that when you go to any organization, they give you a 90-day trial period before your job is solidified. So before you get your benefits, it's a probationary period. So I actually started a new job. I just recently went through my 90-day probationary period, and then I got my benefits and all of these different things that I get. So the idea is, as women, we have men go through a 90-day probationary period before we give them the kitty cat. Now, that's all fine and dandy. And if that's what you want to do, I think more power to you. However, there is a man who's asking ladies, what if the 90 days was turned on you? And this is what a man's 90-day rule would look like. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
If I said, okay, then you need to wait 90 days before he takes you out on a date. You need to wait 90 days before he spends a single dollar on you. You need to go ahead and talk to him every day or however often for 90 days before he decides to invest in you as you are going to be invested in him. For a man to vet you, it is the standard to spend money. money somewhere. In most cases, I gotta take you on a Capital Grill. That's gonna cost money. I gotta take you at a place that you deem is valuable for you to sit at, right? Which is gonna cost me money. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? The realistic thing is, if we just sat here and talked to each other for 90 days, I can't FaceTime you more than, once or twice a week unless I had actually started to invest money in you for 90 days. I'm wrong. So I'm not saying that your box is in exchange for money. What I'm saying is that for me to actually get your time, I have to spend money. But yeah, I can spend your money and get your time, but never get nothing out of it. It's not fair to a man. If I said, okay, then you need to wait.
So, ladies, would you spend 90 days being courted by a man and him never spending a dime on you? So within those 90 days, you will get to know him. Within those 90 days, you will find out all about his family. You will find out the fundamental things that you need to find out about that man. But what he will not do is he will not spend money on you. How does that work? Isn't it? It so is interesting. Now, one of the things that this show has always been about is being able to see both sides of the coin, right? It's called perspective. And if you have not seen this before, if you Google perspective online, one of the things you should see, but if you don't see, there is literally two men standing on two different sides of a number. On one side, somebody sees the number 6. On the other side, they see the number 9. The person that sees the 9 cannot understand why the person that sees the 6 sees that, and vice versa. It's all a matter of perspective. So from a man's perspective, I'm investing time, money, energy in you to wait for you to give me something you may never give me. Yet, if I were to do the same, you likely wouldn't give me the time of day. Sorry guys, I keep looking over because I realized I left my stove on and I'm trying to understand. Yeah, we're done here. Sorry, I left the stove on. I realized my chicken was on low, thank God. But let's really try to, I'm over the whole dating wars, right? Like when I started this show, it was never to talk about dating war and manosphere, and like it was none of that. It was really to show you that in a relationship, sometimes you have to fuck your feelings. And it does not mean that you do not care about your partner's feeling. It actually means you respect your partner's feelings so much that you are putting yourself in a space that you can understand their perspective. So you're not going to let your feelings override theirs. Rob and I were really good at having fuck your feelings conversations. And whenever we said, listen, we're having a fuck your feelings conversation, it meant that it was the other person's, like they had to sit there and shut up, basically. Let me just be very blunt with it. When I said to Rob, or he said to me, we're having a fuck your feelings conversation, it meant the other person sat and shut up and listened. And didn't listen to respond, listen to understand the other person's perspective of what was going on in the relationship. Because we often see the relationship from our side. I don't experience a relationship with me. My partner experiences a relationship with me. They don't experience a relationship with themselves. You experience a relationship with them. And so when you're in a space of fuck your feelings, it is an opportunity for your partner to be able to share with you their perspective of what's going on in the relationship. And we often, as humans, I'm going to talk, because again, I speak to women, we're so caught up in our perspective that we don't take the time to see it from the other side. Now, I am not saying that you should not have standards. I have standards, right? And I think you guys have been hearing me talk about some of my standards. One of which is I am not having a man sweat on top of me, pump and dump in me, who doesn't care about me after he comes. Therefore, because I am not in a relationship, because I am not seriously dating anybody, because I don't really have a prospect on the horizon, my legs are closed. I have not had relations with anyone since I left my ex in Phoenix, Arizona on March the 14th. And that is going to remain as long as I don't have somebody who's actively courting me intentionally to be in a relationship. But that is a standard. I am not saying to that person, you have to wait 90 days. Because we have to really consider what that does. It already puts somebody on guard. You're already putting up a barrier. Now, it is very different when you say, I need you to understand that unless we are in something committed, I am not comfortable having sex with you or being intimate with you. That's not stopping you, because I'm sure you'll be dating other people. That is not stopping you from choosing to be intimate with other people if that's what you so choose. However, when it comes to this woman over here, that's just not where I am. This is my standard. I do not just have people sweat on top of me. That's what it is. Now, you can go from dating into relationship in 2 weeks. You can go from dating to relationship in 10. My last relationship was 0 strangers, 10th day in a relationship, 96 days cohabitation, and we were together for a total of 2 years, 8 months, and 2 days. Things moved quickly. I didn't have a rule about any of it. We came into this relationship, we came into this situation as two people who were, one, physically attracted to each other, then became intellectually attracted to each other, then became emotionally attracted to each other, then got into a relationship. But there were no rules and guidelines and this, because you're putting people, you're already putting somebody in a deficit. Right? Imagine starting out your job in a deficit. So they're saying you have to work 90 days before you get a paycheck. We need you to prove yourself for 90 days before we pay you. And if you make it to 90 days, you'll get all of the money we owed you for the past 90 days. How many of you are signing up for that job? Yeah, I don't see any hearts. There are no likes. There's no messages going on YouTube, because none of you are signing up for that job. None of you are signing up for the job that tells you you pass the interview phase, they check your references, everything is great, you're excited about the potential of this job, but they say, by the way, you need to prove yourself within 90 days before we will pay you. I am not a man, but I can probably guess that's what men hear. I'm already in a deficit for 90 days. Who's Sylvester? Who's Sylvester? Please elaborate for me, because I don't know who Sylvester is. I'm talking about, I'm old, so you gotta give it to me, because I think Sylvester Stallone. I'm just saying, because I'm old. But that's what it's gotta sound like, because that's what it sounds like to me. And I equate everything to job, right? Because I think a lot of us understand job environments, work environments. There are certain things that we would not accept in a work environment, but we're expecting the people in our lives to accept that at home. And so standards, I had a whole show, right? In order for people to meet your standards, you have to get some. But I think this whole 90-day rule is interesting, because I'm really sitting here thinking to myself, I'm going to be straight up and down. There's no way I'm dating a man for 90 days and he doesn't take me out on one single solitary date. doesn't spend a penny. So I'm investing time, energy, because I am Jamaican, as many of you know. I have 11 jobs. I have 11 jobs. Like I finished my day of work. I had one show before this. I now have this show. When this show is done, I've got another about 2 hours of work that I need to do. I consult. I've got 7 storyline. I have 9 books. Actually, hold on, 8, 9 books on the market. Google me, Toshiba Billings. Right? I have written and published 9 books. I'm 11 jobs I'm doing. And so I don't have a lot of time. And so a man proposing to me that I really want to get to know you. I think you're awesome. I want to understand your mind and all of this stuff. But I need you to understand that it will be 90 days before I'm willing to take this outside of phone calls and video calls for us to go on a date. And after you've proven yourself for 90 days, that is at which point I'm going to spend some money on you. What are we talking about? That's okay. If you think I talk too much, you can stop watching. That's also an option, right? Because you're actually here spending time with me when you could be fucking somebody and fucking your feelings. But instead, you've decided to spend time with me. So that's okay. We move on, right? I have a show called Fuck Your Feelings. If you're going to come in here and think you're going to hurt my feelings, you've got the wrong one. But we move the fuck on. So I really want us as ladies to consider the other side of the coin when we are dating. I know there is a lot of podcasts who will tell you men ain't ish and men ain't that and men blah 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 and the pool is full of this and the pool is full of that. And you can believe those if you want. But the reality is, if that is the attitude you're going out into the dating world with, you're not going to attract what it is that you want. You're going to attract exactly the opposite of what you want. That's what you're going to do. So when you're coming into a new situation with defenses and rules, and again, like it's way up here, like a new man has to climb way up here to even get you to bring your walls down. How is he incentivized to do that? So we have the 90-day rule, and then of course we have, because this is my rule, I don't pay for dates. So he's got to pay for the date, as you're not going to go Dutch, and then he's got to take you out for 90 days before he could potentially have relations with you. And then some of you don't have an amount of dates, but you don't have a couple days, but you have amount of dates. So there was one video I saw, a woman said she was in a relationship, but was 15 dates before she would have sex with the man who got her in a relationship. Like, that's a lot. I'm a woman and that's a lot for me. Again, have standards. Standards are important. Standards set the precedent to what you will accept and not accept. For me, rules don't necessarily do that, because you can break a 90-day rule, right? There are jobs now who give you benefits on the first day. You don't have to prove anything. They say, you know what? We're going to give you benefits. We have gone through 4 rounds of interviews, and so this is what's going to happen. We're going to give you benefits right away from the first day because we think you're worth it. Not everybody's doing 90-day rules, even in the corporate world. And it's just, for me, I think we make dating a complicated situation that it doesn't have to be, right? Like it's a very complicated It's unnecessarily complicated. Like, unnecessarily complicated. And dating is supposed to be fun. It really is. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a really fun thing to do. Getting dressed up with someone who you are attracted to, whether that be physically or mentally attracted to, and getting to know them and laughing and talking about life and funny things and finding out things you have in common and, you know, all of these different things. Like, that's what dating is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. When did we take the fun out of dating? This is a really serious question. When did we take the fun out of dating? Jealous about what? When did we take the fun out of dating? Please bring the fun back in dating. It's like, we've overcomplicated so many things in life. This is why we're having this tension. I speak to my male friends on a regular, and we really do try to hear each other's perspective. I was talking to a friend today for about 3 hours, and while I was working, by the way, and he was telling me about his dating life, and I was asking him questions related to some of the things that he was saying and how it relates, and certain things that he was saying to me I had never thought about. I thought this was such an interesting perspective to hear from him when he dates women, some of the things that he considered that I had never considered. I told him he's nicer than I am, because some of the things he was talking about, I would never deal with that, and I'm a woman. Like, good for you, right? Like, there are just certain things. Listen, if we take a second and just listen to each other, all of this stuff would not be happening. We would be having fun again. Women say that they want that 90s R&B love. Well, guess what? In the 90s, there could be songs like Cater to You. 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, women could sing songs talking about catering to their man without being canceled. Because people wanted to cancel Cater for You because it doesn't align with, I don't even know what. Because I'm the woman who lotions for man's body, right? Let's not forget. I was with a man who was 6'9", who did not lotion his own skin. That was a lot of skin, by the way, to lotion. Okay, that man didn't lotion no part of his body when we were together. I lotioned him from head to toe. I catered to my man. I would clip his toenails. I would do everything. So cancel me if you want, but it's ridiculous. We say we want this type of love, yet we're not willing to, on the other side, give the man what they need in order to satisfy them in a relationship. Think about it. You want to be satisfied, right? Have you ever asked the man that you want to be with, or the man that you're with, how you can satisfy him? I used to ask my ex, how can I love you better? I remember the first time I said that to him, his face was like, what? I looked at him and I said, how can I love you better? I said, I'm loving you I feel like I'm loving you the best way I know how, but am I loving you in the best way that you will receive? Just because I was catering to him, just because I was cooking and cleaning and ironing his clothes and being his support and doing all the things that I'm doing, doesn't mean that he was receiving what I was giving him. And sometimes we exhaust ourselves with some of the stuff we're doing and saying, I'm so tired, I'm giving so much in the relationship and I'm not getting anything back. But are you giving that person what it is that they really desire? Are you loving them in a way that they can receive? And I'm not talking about toxic love. I don't do toxicity over here. I actually don't even, to be honest, understand the concept of a toxic relationship because I've never been in one. I've never been in what would be considered a toxic relationship because honestly, I don't even understand. Like, to me, toxicity is abuse, right? Emotional, mental, financial, like that's toxic. But some of you have a disagreement and it's a toxic relationship. However, I digress. So it would be nice if you really sat down with the man you are with and ask him, how can I love you better? And just let that man answer. A man that you are dating, how does he want to be loved? How does he receive loved? Of the woman he felt love from the most, what is it that she did or said that made him feel that way? How could, if you were in a relationship, ensure that he felt love every single day? As a woman who only dates Black men, who understands the burden that a Black man has to go through each and every day. Each and every day, my ex would walk through the door, I would say a silent prayer for him. Because there was no guarantee he would come back through those doors. And he had to fight the world. And again, mine was 6'9". He was a big Black man out in this world. And I wasn't going to fight with him inside of our house because I knew he was fighting the world outside of it. He's a big Black man in finance and one of the onlys. He had enough going on. We say we want these types of men, but we put up all of these barriers to entry, that they're way up high. Again, my ex was 6'9", and he could not deal with some of the barriers y'all have. He can't climb over it. His wingspan isn't enough for it. We used to talk about this all the time. He's like, babe, I'm 6'9", and some of these things, that's too much for me. Imagine the average man, because at 6'9", he's above average. He's like, imagine what the average man has to deal with. If at 6'9", I'm listening to some of these women and like, oh no, I'm good. What is it that you really want out of your dating situation? Before you go into anything with all of your rules and all of you, I won't do that. Some of the best shows Rob and I used to have is when we would review Tinder dating profiles and we would read them on the show. And there was so much negativity in, if you're this, don't hit at me. And if you're that, and I don't want that, and I don't want this. And it was like, oh my God, what do you want? What is it that you do want? You spend so much time saying that what you don't want, that the man who, that could be what you want, he's done. He swiped past you because all he's seen is all the things that you don't want. So ladies, when we're going into these relationships, we need to do so from a lens of, what is it that I do want? And if I were to get this, how would I need to conduct myself with the type of man I want to get this from? That's important. You can't want a valuable man, but then don't value him. Bars. Did you hear me? You can't want a valuable man and then don't value him. Because I hear women saying that they want a man of value and they want this. However, we also say on the other side of our neck, but I'm not a slave and I'm not going to cook for him. I'm not going to clean for him. Or I need a man who's going to show me he's worthy of me being submissive. Submission is not something we turn on and turn off, like femininity. I don't get to turn this off. Like I don't get it. Like I think I'm going to turn it off today. You either are or you aren't. You're either going to submit or you're going to lead. Because submission is not a bad thing. There were times that my ex submitted to me. Why? Because I had the knowledge and expertise to deal with what needed to be done. And so he said, babe, this is on you. You can do this in 30 minutes while it was going to take me 5 hours. Or I just don't want to do it. So you know what, babe? That's you. And so then there were things that I submitted to him. I don't have the expertise or skills to do that, or I just don't want to do it. So babe, that's all on you. It wasn't a tug of war. We didn't put up all of these barriers before getting into the relationship. And then when we're in the relationship and there all of these things. And I just, can we go back to simpler times? Please. Ladies, I promise you, the whole dating thing can be really fun. There are thousands, if not millions of women out right now while I'm doing this show that are having the best time of their lives on first dates, on third dates, on 100 dates with their husbands or boyfriends or fiancés. They're just living their best life. They are enjoying that man, the essence of that man in their life. They are not at war with him. They are enjoying him. They are loving that man wholly and completely. And therefore, he's also loving her back. We have made something really hard that doesn't need to be. I'm being serious. You'll learn about it more in the book, which will come out late spring. But when we came up with this concept of fuck your feelings, a lot of people were, and to be honest, I was one of those people. The first time my ex told me, fuck your feelings, I clutched my imaginary pearls like, what? What are you saying? How dare you? People care about my feelings. My daddy cares about my feeling. And when we stopped and we really broke it down what it meant, I, at that moment, had been invalidating his feelings that he was expressing to me for no other reason than I had my feelings hurt by something that he had said. And instead of allowing him to finish, I made it about me. It became the Toshiba show. No man wants to be just a role in your show that you can just plug in and plug out. Hey, extra, I need you now. You're a stand-in. Let's stand here when I need you. Okay, I'm done with you. I don't want you because it's all about me. I have said recently to men, at this rate, I don't know how you date us. Some of the stuff that I see online as a woman is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for us. I'm embarrassed by some of the things that I see online, some of the things that we're doing, some of the hate that is being broadcasted. Women are now going online saying that men hate women. It is just, stop it. Stop it. We are overcomplicating the dating landscape for ourselves. If you have standards, if you stand on your standards, if you make good choices about whom you decide to lay with and procreate with and give yourself to and do all of that, and you listen to a man's words and watches his actions, and you have fun with the men and you laugh with the men and you truly try to understand your man. You don't have to understand the entire male gender, okay? You just need to understand that man that you were with, that you say you want to be with. No one's expecting you to understand all men. But you should understand the one that you said that you want, the one that you're laying with, the one that you want to lay with. What are you doing? And instead of putting up all of these walls and these barriers and these calls for entry and 90-day rule and 15-day rule and all of these different things, it's okay if a man doesn't meet your standards. If you say, no, listen, I have said to men, I don't desire sex, I desire love. And I want a man who could be with anybody else, but chooses to be with me. That is the man that I will lay with. Not the man who sees all of this and thinks, well, that's great for the moment. I want the man who wants all of this from head to tippy toe forever. And so until that man has presented himself and is courting me, my legs are closed. But thank you for the offer of the peen. And men, every man I've said that to has respected it. Toshiba, I can't do nothing but respect it. You have your boundaries, and I respect it. If I'm ever in a place where I'm ready to court you, I will do so. It's not that hard. But we don't need all of this extra stuff and all of this negativity and all of these rules and all of this stuff. We just, let's bring the fun back. Let's bring the fun back in getting to know someone. I won't lie, I miss that. It's been almost 3 years since I met my ex. October 18th marks 3 years since I met my ex. And like I said, we went from strangers to being in a relationship in 10 days. And it was during COVID. And we spent hours on the phone getting to know each other and laughing and video calling. I knew about his childhood. I knew about things happening in university. We talked about aliens in the universe, and we have so much fun getting to know each other. I want to, like, what do our future goals look like? What are some of the regrets that we had in life? Like, we had fun. So I know in this era, in the 2020s, that dating can still be fun because I've had it. But I've also had it because I don't go in with these negative ideals. I don't go in telling men what I don't want, but I'm very clear to them about what I do want. And if I am not for them and they're not for me, we can just part ways. We don't need the whole two can play that game and all of that stuff. Even if you watch the Steve Harvey, Act Like a Man, right? The girl in the thing that had the 90-day rule, her 90-day rule didn't last long. The 90-day rule came and went. It came and went because she was actually getting to know that person. So I just want, for the sake of us, ladies, I'm really advocating for us. I really want as many women to experience the type of love I've had in my life. I've had some amazing men in my life, but life happens and people come in your life for a reason, season, and a lifetime. And so just because a relationship ends, I actually don't have bad blood with any of my exes. It's like probably my ex-husband, who doesn't know we're divorced, but that's for the book. But I don't have bad blood. I talk to exes that I dated 20 years ago who've had other relationships or have gotten married or all of that stuff. Like, that's like That's the type of woman at 43. I can still talk to men I dated at 23. No bad blood. I can still talk to men I dated 6 years ago. No bad blood. Because life just happens, and sometimes people are not for each other. We don't need all of the negativity. We don't need all of that. I really want us to get back to when we just had fun. We didn't have all of these crazy expectations of what it means to be a real man, and defining for men what it means to be a real man. And a real man's going to take me in with my 5 kids and 5 baby daddies. Like, that's just delusional on like a sociopathic level. Like, cancel delusion, but bring fun back. Ladies, I guarantee you, if you sit down and really assess yourself and assess what it is that you want, how it is that you're going to be able to love the man who comes into your life, giving you what you want, how you're going to be able to value a valuable man, things will change for you. Things will change for you. My last relationship has forever changed me in a very positive way. The love I had for that man and he had for me, I wish I could bottle it and give it to each of you ladies who've had bad experiences so you can feel just a bit of it. And yes, we didn't work out, and yes, we didn't walk down the aisle, but it wasn't because we didn't love each other. It's because life happened. But we laughed and we had fun and we had a good life and we traveled together and we had experiences together and we made memories together. And I asked that man how I could love him better. And he told me, you deserve my best. And we stood on that for as long as we could while we were in that relationship. So I've got to go have dinner. I know it was kind of all over the place tonight, but I really felt like this message was so necessary because I really am tired of the negativity. I'm tired of the bantering. I'm tired of the men hate women, women hate men, do better, all of that stuff. Like, let's put all of that aside for a second and bring it back to those old school 90s, 80s, early 2000s R&B love that all of you say that you want. Just go back to movies like Love Jones. Go back to certain movies and watch them. What made those movies get to your heart? What made those movies stand out? Really think about it. If you want that type of love, are you giving that type of love? Are some of you even deserving of that type of love? Are you deserving of the type of love you say that you want? Are you going to be able to love that man back in the way that you want him to love you? Let's really start asking ourselves deep questions instead of always being about the men and girling women who are talking about negativity and talk about men ain't ish and you know what, I can do it because they do it and all of that stuff. Really do a self-evaluation on yourself. Really be honest with yourself. I'm honest with myself. I am truly honest with myself. My breakup has not been easy. It's been one of the hardest things I've ever had to experience in recent years. And as much as it was necessary, because our lives were going in a different direction, it doesn't make it any less hard. And I'm also honest with myself that the next man has some big shoes to fill, literally and figuratively. He was 6'9" and wore size 15 shoes. I'm not expecting the next man to come into my life and be all of that, but that type of love, that type of support, that type of intentionality that we had, that's what I want to replicate. Because at the end of the day, I know that I'm giving that back to him. And that we were able to flourish in the way that we did because I took his love and I doubled it. That's what we did. Every single day when we recommitted to each other, every single day. Relationships are work. Marriage is work. It is a job. Every single day, I got up and chose my ex until we didn't. Are you getting up and choosing the person that you're with every single day? Or are you creating barriers for the successful relationship that you want to have? Because if you are, you need to question, why is it that you're doing that? Who hurt you? A lot of us are hurt. And that's no excuse to take your hurt and put that on someone else. I will not excuse any woman and say, well, this person. It says clearly it's time for you need to pause. And as Kendra likes to say on her show, have a single season. And during that single season, fix all of your ish before you put that onto your next. Your next should never pay for the mistakes of your ex. And if you continually find yourself in that situation, that is not that man or those men. Baby girl, it's you. And so you need to take a moment before you start putting all these rules. Well, you know what? I let him get away with this. So the next man, he ain't going to do that to me. Oh, like, ooh, miss me with all of that. Sit in it, feel it, and figure out why it keeps happening. And you know what you're going to have to do, ladies? A lot of you are going to have to fuck your feelings because we're not the prize we think we are. A lot of us are not the prize we think we are. And so maybe you need to figure out how to get to be the prize you want to be for the man you want instead of bringing all that other stuff. So to wrap it up, 90-day rules, have them if you want, but they're really not going to get you as far as you want, because if a man instituted a 90-day rule on your ass, you likely would not want to date him. No one is going to take a job that they have to work for 90 days before they get paid. And the moment you say to someone, I have a 90-day rule, you are automatically putting a wall up and putting them in a deficit. Because now it's 89, 88, 87. Like, no one wants to do that. If you want to genuinely get to know someone, And ladies, here's what my exorcists say. You need to find out everything you need to know about a man that will make you comfortable enough to sleep with him. It's not good enough that he's fine and he good looking, or he's got money, or he's got whatever. And a lot of you are having one night sex raw. Well, by the way, raw. No. Please. That's a no. Don't do that. So find out what you need to know about that man to make you comfortable to give him your vagina. But don't get mad at him when you give him your vagina and you know nothing about him. Because he gonna take your vagina, sis. There's not a lot of men that are like, oh no, Toshiba, please don't give me your vagina. Oh, I don't know any, to be honest. They're gonna tell me no. Don't, please. Please keep your vagina over there away from me if I'm offering it up. Why would they? So don't get mad at a man for accepting what you're giving him before he's telling you he's willing to give you anything. That's on you, my love. As Ileana used to say, beloved, that is not on him. So I appreciate everyone on YouTube, on Instagram, who came out tonight to watch me. And like I used to say, like I always say, see, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten well today. Like I always say, you could be anywhere else, but you are here with me. Bring a little fuck your feelings into your life and into your relationship. I promise you, it will make it better. Please watch out for my book, Fuck Your Feelings, The Journey to Imperfect Love, coming out next year, 2024, late spring 2024. I'm going to bring you a little bit deeper into my life and tell you about how fucking my feelings has helped me to be the person I am today and how it will make your relationship better. And hopefully by the time the book comes out, God, your girl is, somebody found her. But I digress. I love you. I appreciate you all. I'm out. Good night, YouTube. Good night, Instagram. It is time for me to go. Bye.